A cape? A freaking cape? Come on! Hold on, did I click on the right video? Or am I playing Assassin's Creed Gallipoli? This guy pisses me off with a freaking train cap. Is he the train commander of the Hogwarts Express? Do we have to dumb everything down nowadays? And those that say it's just a game, this is what the younger generation takes in as information. The sprinkling of diversity, of course. Again, with the current times, I have to pick my words carefully.
That's it. Time to go.
Hi and welcome to History Legends. In this video, we'll do a step-by-step historical breakdown of the Battle of Gallipoli as portrayed in the mission The Runner from Battlefield 1. A lot of you have been asking for this mission. Apparently, it's so realistic and accurate. I'm pretty excited. You guys gave me high expectations. Are you ready? Let's go! Oh yes, by the way, once again, 1,000 thanks to my patrons for sponsoring this video. Without them, this would not be possible. I always liked the little history part at the beginning. Dardanelles, Gallipoli Peninsula. The British Empire intends to open a new front to the war. Yes and no. The main strategic objective was 1. To take out the Ottomans out of the war, and 2. Allow to supply Russia through the Black Sea. So strategically, it made a lot of sense. The only problem was the execution of this idea. Plans for unprecedented invasion force, that's true. They gathered ships carrying over 500,000 men. Okay, but that was during the 9-month campaign. The force is drawn from Australia, New Zealand, Ireland, India, Newfoundland, France, and Britain. Why did they put Britain last? They suffered more casualties than all the others combined. What a disrespect. And just like we can see, they start with Australia and New Zealand. This is what we picture when we talk about Gallipoli. But as a matter of fact, even France had as many casualties as the Australians. And I'm happy that they included Newfoundland because it's true that some Canadians actually fought there. Poor guys though, slaughtered at Gallipoli and then slaughtered again at the Somme. So the 25th of April. At Cape Helles, the steamship River Clyde is used as a Trojan horse. So this is accurate. I would have liked them to actually put the date, the 25th of April 1915. But it's true that there was a civilian ship called the River Clyde that brought 2,000 Allied soldiers to the beach. Now the interesting part is how they call it a Trojan horse. Basically the goal was for the ship to be right on the beach and basically provide protection with its 11 machine guns positioned on the bow. Okay, the main character. Oh my god, what did I just see? A cape? A freaking cape? Come on! What? Even the guy in the back has a cape. I don't understand, it's not even practical in combat. Hold on, did I click on the right video? Or am I playing Assassin's Creed Gallipoli? Australians, okay.
Lied about his age to get past conscription.
Okay, he lied about his age to get past conscription. That's great, except that Australia didn't have conscription during World War I. What the hell is this? What are they talking about? Unlike Canada, Australia voted against conscription in 1916. And this takes place in 1915 when not even Britain had conscription. All Anglo-Saxon countries still relied on a 100% volunteer force because by that time casualties were still relatively low. Okay, now it starts. The little foreplay is done. Okay, we see the River Clyde. Oh, nice! Check this out. Okay, this shot is actually inspired by an actual photograph. You can see it yourself. I'm gonna put them side by side. It's actually the same thing. Hold on. Oh no, they messed up. I backtrack. They couldn't even get the map right. So instead of having the village here in front, we should have the fort. And then it's the village that should be behind the fort. The mountain here is accurate, but here should be much more flat. And if we look at the bow, there's some sandbags, but here it was literally a small fortress. We should have seen 11 machine guns protected by sandbags, and here we can't see anything. This is what happens when I get too excited. I'm happy. Boom. Put back in place. So let me know if the ships are accurate. But it's weird, on day 2, the British already had that section. So the bombardment basically just fires on their own troops. They said it's day 2, but they act as if it's the first day. I don't understand. I don't understand. I feel a massive foreshadowing. That's it, time to go. So, okay, we have 2 Australians, but what the hell are they doing at Cape Helles? What the hell are they doing here? What? Again, Battlefield 1 moments. I really have to breathe in because I might get mad. So there were actually 2 landings on the Gallipoli Peninsula. One of mainly British forces on Cape Helles, and another one called Anzac Cove further up north. Anzac, Australians, New Zealand. This is where they should be. If the game wanted to make a mission about Australians, they should make it at Anzac Cove. But if you want to make a mission about the SS River Clyde at V Beach, Cape Helles, this ship was filled with Irish soldiers. Honestly, it makes me mad because they shuffle history around. This mission could have been excellent. It could have been about Irish soldiers, which we never hear about. But no, they need to make it about Australians on the wrong beach. Honestly, it's as if they made an Omaha Beach mission and you have Canadian soldiers coming out. Like, what the hell? Okay, the ship had 2,000 men. Where are they? It's empty. Okay, I'm not even gonna talk about this gun. Too much energy. I don't have it. Honestly, what? Oh, anyway. Okay, we kind of see the ramp, but it wasn't really like that. What? Do you see what I'm seeing? Why do they have a broady helmet? In 1915! Oh my god. Hold on, is it every soldier that has that? They actually changed the uniform of all the invasion force. I can't believe it. And this guy has a freaking winter hat while attacking a beach in spring on the Mediterranean.
That's it. Time to go.
Honestly, I'm speechless. They actually did it. Like I said before, the bulk of the soldiers from the River Clyde were Irish. You had the Royal Dublin Fusiliers and the Royal Munster Fusiliers, but they had a very special uniform that day. The 1914 pattern equipment. The British uniform with the cap. I'm just wondering why the game did that. Was it because not to confuse the poor players that don't understand history and that, oh, they wouldn't know that it's the British soldiers? Do we have to dumb everything down nowadays? And those that say it's just a game, this is what the younger generation takes in as information. How many of them will actually take the time to read about this event and what actually happened? How the soldiers looked like? Not many. Oh yeah, and I wanted to say, one good thing sort of is that we can see the ramp. And if we continue, we can even see the ships underneath. That's well done. If you look at this painting, you can see how there were 2 exits from the River Clyde with 2 ramps. And both would link up at the bottom of the ship on some sort of pontoon bridge made of boats, which the soldiers would use to jump on the beach. Very clever. In theory! What actually happened is that the soldiers came out one by one and they got slaughtered from the machine guns positioned at the fort. I think it said that among the first 200 to get off the ship, only 21 made it across the beach. Most of them got slaughtered right here. And the casualties were so high for the Irishmen of the River Clyde that they simply merged the 2 units for the remainder of the campaign. So this is definitely not Day 2, this is day 1, the initial landing. So another mistake. And look at that. They actually put hedgehogs. Egg-shaped wooden hedgehogs. Once again, thank you, Saving Private Ryan, for screwing war movies and video games forever. Oh, okay, it's worse than I thought. They're literally everywhere. And what is their purpose? To hold barbed wire? Now the worst thing is that it's inspired by actual events. As you can see on this map, the British landed on multiple beaches on Cape Helles. The one we're at is beach V, right underneath the Seddul Bahir fort. Now on W and V beach, the British faced well-defended positions, which were obstructed by barbed wire. But these barbed wire lines were not held by overly complicated X-shaped wooden hedgehogs, but by simple poles buried into the ground, just like you can see on this picture. And it's just logical, it's much easier to put in place. And Turkish forces were kind of nasty in their defense. They put up 3 lines of barbed wire. One line right on top of the beach, another line halfway up the slope, and another one on the western side of the village. Now you can imagine the shock of these British soldiers facing these barbed wire lines. Now the other thing is that we can sort of see the beach here, and that's actually well done. It stretched for 300 yards. The only problem here is there wasn't a slope directly up the beach, but there should only be one hill here. This is a picture of the landing site today. The River Clyde would have positioned right there, and the men would have progressed beyond this beach. As you can see, it's pretty flat apart from this hill, where the Turkish forces were established. And now you can understand why British casualties were so appalling. There was a double enfilade fire both from the fort and the hill. And the British explained all these losses because they thought that they faced an entire Turkish division. V Beach was only defended by 1 company. Alright, let's go. Lecture done. Okay, shotgun, beautiful, amazing. Okay, barbed wire line. Okay, attacking Turkish trenches. Oh, do you see this uniform? Honestly, if you've read about Gallipoli, this uniform looks a bit weird. And the reason is because this was the uniform of Turkish artillery officers in Galicia, or modern day Ukraine. A very specific uniform. But as you know, at Gallipoli, Turkish forces wore this uniform in this khaki color, while wearing the iconic Kabalak helmet. And by doing research for this video, I actually learned what this Kabalak helmet was made of. It was only 2 layers of cloth wrapped up, so it didn't provide that much protection against bullets or artillery. It was more to protect against weather conditions like extreme heat or cold, as you could wrap it around your head. I wonder if they're gonna use grenades. Oh, is he gonna kill him? No. Okay, good boy. This is the proper Turkish hat used during the Battle of Gallipoli. And let me know, guys, if this is a Turkish Mauser, because this is the rifle that Ottoman forces used. Okay, and look at the defenses. Look how sophisticated they are. This is the problem of beach landings. We always imagine that it was exactly like the German defenses on D-Day. Once again, thank you, Saving Private Ryan, when in fact Turkish trenches were simply dug in with shovels. As you can see on this picture, this was a regular Ottoman trench. You can see the narrow corridor, but they weren't that high or as massive as what we can see in the game, because the goal was to protect from artillery fire. The bigger you trench, the bigger the target. It makes me sad a bit because we have so much material about this battle, thanks to the Australians and New Zealanders, but they still decided to go towards the fantasy route. And again, I fear that we witness, oh, he should have died. We witnessed this one-man army type of battle again and again. I would have loved to see hundreds of British soldiers charge uphill. He could have been the leader, but at least use the video game's CGI to give us the true scale of the battle. Oh, and check this out. He actually has a German Stalehelm. It's even worse than I thought. And once again, the worst thing is that it's not completely inaccurate. Starting in 1916, more and more Ottoman troops were in fact provided with a Stalehelm, Some sources claim that the Germans sent them 170,000 M16 helmets. Probably an exaggeration, but it wasn't uncommon to see Turkish soldiers with this helmet in the second half of the war. However, they would keep their 1914 khaki uniform and not this white thing. So since it's 1915 Gallipoli, no soldier should have the German helmet. And check this out, during my research, I found it hilarious to find out that Ottoman officers actually hated the German Stalehelm. They actually regretted their order. They believed the design impeded the soldiers' ability to hear orders in the field and requested that the visor, ear and neck protectors be removed. Imagine how the Germans reacted when they got that feedback. They were like, okay guys, you literally had cloth helmets before us. Eventually the Germans gave in. They're like, okay, fine, here's your helmet. And the Germans sent about 5,500 of this Turkish variant Stalehelm. So the Germans made this custom-made helmet, expecting many more orders. And you know what's the worst? After that one batch, the Ottoman Empire simply stopped ordering them. Oh my god, worst ally. Okay, the trenches are empty. It's not even a challenge. And I think they have a British machine gun. Beautiful. Oh, he's dead. Okay, 1862, 1915? Wait, this guy was 53 years old during World War I? Okay, that's insanely old, considering the fact that most people died at 62. It's literally as if you made a Call of Duty Modern Warfare game and your mentor is 68. And looking at his age, I'm just wondering, what is he known for, the legend of Australia? In my opinion, he could be a veteran from the Second Boer War. And that's the only thing I can think of. Now, on a side note, I actually checked for an Australian Frederick Bishop that fought at Gallipoli. And from what I found out, there was only one Frederick James Bishop, but he died at the Somme in 1918 at 24. So yeah, that's that. Okay, we're back. Some people say why I don't play, but the reason why is because I don't game much these days. Oh, grenade. That's fantastic. Oh! What? Okay, pretty gore moments, but okay, now we can see the Turkish Kabalak. That's good, but what the hell are these red shoulder and I don't know how you call it here. So that's completely made up. Even Turkish officers did not wear red and white like that. This is completely made up. And what I don't like in this game is that they make it seem as if it was easy to take Turkish positions when, come on, they could have made it so much more epic. Okay, now we're at the top of the hill. This is somewhat where Turkish forces would have been. But you see, remember the picture I showed you? The hill shouldn't be all there. It should be flat. So now the British are at the top of the hill that the Turkish used to fire on the men on the beach. I only wish that they showed a bit more history, obviously. For example, there's something they could have shown. We all agree that Ottoman forces on Cape Helles were heavily outnumbered. But already in the morning of the 25th of April, Ottoman soldiers were out of ammo. And they only had their bayonets left to defend their position. And what happened is that many of them charged downhill. Bayonet charge. Imagine that in the game. You go up the hill, you think you've won, and all of a sudden you have wave after wave of Turkish soldiers. And this truly shocked the British. They didn't expect such a stubborn defense. So they started putting back and consolidating their positions instead of pushing forward. And basically this is when the Allied forces lost the battle already. Most Turkish soldiers that defended the beach were either killed or wounded. Most units were annihilated.
Yes, sir.
So the storyline is okay. It's not fantastic, but can you guys explain me how Australians and New Zealanders see each other? Because I often see jokes about it.
Come on, stand up.
Is it like Americans and Canadians, something like that?
Follow me. I'm in here.
Oh, nice. Check this out. Okay, this is the proper uniform. As you know, I'm trying to be better with rifles, weapons, and all this, so I see the lean field World War I here and what I see on screen, and it's pretty much the same thing. So that's well done. And they're actually wearing this very iconic grey back shirt, which is historically accurate, with, of course, the slouch hat. Without it, it wouldn't be Australians, right? But what you have to remember is that Anzac troops did not have one single uniform, but a variety. One of these ones you can see on screen. The reason is that Australian soldiers were receiving parcels from home with clothing and they added it to their uniform. But he has some sort of pack here on his chest. I have no idea what it is. Is that a gas mask? I don't know if they had that in 1915. But he is also wearing shorts, and that is historically accurate as well. Honestly, the mission could have been about him. So as you can see, very nice inaccurate uniform. I don't know why they're all wearing their helmet like bent down. And what is written here? I can't see. Okay. This guy pisses me off with a freaking train cap. Is he the train commander of the Hogwarts Express? This is not what British officers would wear at Gallipoli. Okay, that's it. Let's check. Okay, that's what I thought. This would be the proper hat of a British officer at Gallipoli. Not this. I contain myself. I don't want this video to get demonetized.
Fine. You're here with me. And you will be running.
Yes, let's use the old guy to run around. Beautiful, yes. On a side note, runners were actually used at Gallipoli. And I think that's one of the main themes of the movie Gallipoli with Mel Gibson. But they were used everywhere during World War I because not every position had telephone lines and radios were not a thing yet on the battlefield. So the simplest way was to send a runner. They would run back and forth within friendly lines. The biggest threat to these guys were enemy snipers and artillery shells. I don't know the life expectancy of runners, but it was relatively a dangerous job. Oh! What did I see? Oh shit! What is this lone Indian soldier doing there? Okay, so in the Battlefield 1 fantasy, we have Australians, British, and Indian troops all fighting side by side. Now, as a matter of fact, Indian troops did serve at Gallipoli, but they would be fighting within an all-Indian unit. And actually, one of these Indian units was actually made of Gurkhas. And from what I remember, at one point, British troops were really close to face a defeat when the Gurkhas simply charge uphill with their knives, bayonets, and push back Ottoman forces. Again, they want to show diversity. This would have been epic. The Gallipoli mission from the perspective of Sikh soldiers of the British Indian Army or even the Gurkhas. Honestly, I would buy the game just for that. But no, they prefer to sprinkle diversity. So basically he's running across enemy territory. We see the fort there to get to the forward elements. Which is okay, I mean, it's not completely impossible. So okay, we see the forward British position. Oh, they're under heavy enemy fire. Okay, we see an Australian guy with a World War II uniform among British soldiers. Fantastic. Oh my god! Okay, we're just talking about diversity. The sprinkling of diversity, of course. Check this out. Again, with the current times, I have to pick my words carefully. So right here, we see a human with high melanin. No, but seriously, what the hell? This seems to be the uniform of the World War II Kenyan soldiers of the King's African Rifles. World War II! And we have many problems. Now, the proper uniform of African colonial troops under British command would be this one here with the iconic fez. Although in battle, they would wear a more compact model like you can see on screen. So that's problem one. Number two is that the British never used black troops, whether Caribbean or African, as combat units on the European or Middle Eastern theater. Once again, not only would they be fighting within their own unit, but the British only used African troops in East Africa against the Germans that were using their own African colonial troops. So once again, we face some massive virtue signaling. And my problem is that if they were actually really heavily interested in diversity during World War I, they would have made the mission about Gurkhas, Indians. They could have made an entire mission about the East African Front. I would have loved to see their perspective on the war. But no, they have to sprinkle them among British soldiers. So you understand, this is not just about history, is that they really want to push their agenda in your face. But not too much, so it's not too obvious. They just sprinkle it Anyway, I don't have much energy left. It would be nice to hear all the wounded here. To see that they're not all dead. Maybe they're all dead, but to hear all the wounded, have them ask for water, help or something. That would have made this mission... Okay, he killed his buddies. But this would have made this mission much more interesting.
Fucking Brits. Shelling their own position to cover a retreat.
Okay, enough. Can't you stop mocking the British for a second? It seems that whenever we see a movie about Australians or a video game, all they do is blame everything on the British and saying how they're arrogant and incompetent. That's all we hear. Enough.
Go.
Oh, what is written? Railway? No freaking way. Railway. What is the railway guy doing here at Gallipoli? Wasn't he in command of the ship?
That's it. Time to go.
So that's all I have for you guys. Let me know in the comment section what you thought of my analysis. If you're new to this channel, don't forget to like and subscribe. And once again, this video was made possible thanks to the support of my patrons. And if you want to help, the link is in the description.